And someone once said, a stranger is only a friend that you haven't met yet. And so even though I just recently got to know Joseph Land, the conversation that we had, I feel like we've known each other forever. And one of the key words that he shared with me was the word integrity. How many of you on here would agree that integrity is everything? Yes? A nod, a shake. I know we're on technology right here. So integrity is so important. I thought when it comes to scaling your business, this individual started from scratch, literally started from nothing, and has built an extremely successful business. He's not only a successful businessman, but more importantly, he's an incredible family man. He loves to help people. So I can't think of a better individual to, over the next 10 to 15 minutes, to share with you a little bit about his story, his journey. And if it's okay, at the end, we'll open it up for a couple of Q&As, questions that you may have. So please help me to welcome my special guest today to Land for Success, Mr. Joseph Land.
Good morning, Gordon. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast with you today, and right back at you. I had a great conversation with you, and you're such an awesome individual and a man of high integrity, and someone I look forward to learning a lot from as well. And I'm honored to be on this podcast with you today. And I see one of my mentors on the call, Tom Chesser, as well today. And so I gotta be spot on because he's going to be watching.
He is watching, right? Well, let's dive right into it, okay? Let's dive right. Last night at 1 a.m. in the morning, we had just finished the Land for Success event, incredible event, and here, myself and two other, we're sitting at a restaurant bar watching the Los Angeles Dodgers last night. 1 a.m. in the morning, right? Could you bring us back? That's a pretty good
team to watch.
Yeah, would you mind, for some of the folks who are watching and they don't know who is Joseph Land, I'm gonna go right back to that story. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit your connection with the Dodgers?
Yeah, I think it's important for everybody, when you see someone who's had a measure of success, you tend to want to think that that person maybe was born with the silver spoon in their mouth and they can do it, but maybe you can't. Heck, I was born with a plastic spoon in my mouth. You know, I grew up in a poor family. You know, we didn't have much, and my father worked in a mill. And so my dream was to play professional baseball. And, you know, I wanted to buy my mom a house. I wanted to buy my mom and dad a car, and all of those things that we didn't have. And, you know, when you grow up like that, you don't really know you don't have those things. But as you get older, you realize, you know, what you don't have and what you like to do for your family. And so I wanted to play professional baseball, and grew up in a small town. And people, when you're pursuing your dream, people will tell you things that you don't want to hear. And it's the only thing they know how to say. They'll say, nobody from our town ever made the big leagues, and you're not going to do it either. And my father would always say to me, don't pay them any attention. They haven't done anything. Just keep training. And so when the Dodgers drafted me, all those people were saying, we knew you were going to do it. And that's what happens to an entrepreneur when you're building your dream. People are going to tell you what you can't do. And you need to get around people like Gordon So and Tom Chesser, who are going to tell you can, right? And so I did, and I got drafted in a high round with the Dodgers, and played a year in the semi-pro league. And I was a catcher. I was a pitcher and changed to a catcher. And that's the quickest way to the big leagues, to the show, as they call it. And I led that summer. I had a great summer. I led the league in every category, and was headed to Vero Beach to spring training with the club, and tore my rotator cuff the last week of the summer, and it was over. It was over, and I was depressed and discouraged. And you know, back then, rotator cuff, you know, you're through. And so I had to get another dream, and I did. And that's what led me to the transportation business.
That's incredible. So, just backing up for a second here, that's everyone has a dream. And playing professional, like Major League Baseball, even being drafted, man, that's at the top of your game. How did you feel like when you heard your name called in the draft day?
Well, at that time, pretty much like today, the Dodgers were one of the top organizations in baseball. And to be drafted, just to be drafted by them. I mean, you think of the kids that play Little League Baseball and dream of playing in the big league. Just to be drafted is an honor. And I had one other friend drafted, by the Washington Baseball Club at that time. But, it's just a privilege. You work all your life to do that. You train every day. You lift weights and you hit baseballs when people are doing other things and going to the movie and that kind of thing. My father was a taskmaster.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying the price, right? Well,
yes,
yes,
absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're at the top. You're at the top, and then you blow out your shoulder. Ouch.
Yeah, and I it was really a blessing. Anytime you go through something like that, God intends it for good for you. And back then, people weren't making the kind of money in baseball they're making today. And and so I look at that experience as God leading me to build a $200 million company and putting me really where I needed to be in my life to be a blessing to others. Think about this, a guy from a town of 3,000 people, drafted to play professional baseball. That dream didn't come true. And now I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. How am I going to provide for my family? Not only my mother and daddy, but my own family. And so I started a transportation company.
Wow. I'm going to stop you there for a minute. So that's a major adversity. I mean, how many of us have faced adversity? You could have just sat there and felt sorry for yourself, like most of us probably would. What got you though? Like you built a successful transportation business. We know that, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars, employed thousands and thousands of families, right? Which is unbelievable. But what I would like to know is, how did you stop feeling sorry for yourself? I don't know about you guys. If you're watching, there's times when I'm sitting here, oh, woe is me. Like, how did you overcome that adversity? I'm more interested in that. Because I do want to get to, I know the folks want to make millions. We're going to talk about how you did that and maybe how they can do, but I'm more interested in teach me how to get rid of my stinking thinking.
Well, I figured that I could wallow in my self-pity and feel sorry for myself, and nobody really cared. Nobody cared, And if I was going to do something, I needed to get up out of the mire and make something happen. And one of the key qualities that I see in every great athlete or every great business person is one thing: tenacity.
Wow.
And so I went to law school. I went to law school for a year, Gordon. I didn't like it. I mean, you're going to do things, you're going to try things in your life to find really where you're supposed to be. I didn't like it. And I figured I wanted to be in business. I wanted to be a businessman. And that's what led me, because I saw business people making more money than lawyers. And so there's some lawyers who make a lot of money. But I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to create my own destiny, and I wanted to be a blessing to others. And the only way I could do that is having a business.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about this business you started. You must have had like lots of backers and money behind you when you started this business.
I borrowed, this is show you how foolish I was and how tenacious I was and how sure of myself I was. I borrowed $50,000 to get in the transportation business. I went to Florida to start because they had fresh produce and vegetables, and I wanted to be in the refrigerated transportation game, time sensitive, temperature sensitive deliveries. And so I lived in a travel trailer at a campground, no bathroom in the trailer. I had to go to the campground shower and bathroom every day. And I was so broke, I couldn't pay attention. Anybody ever been that broke? That's pretty broke, isn't it?
Say that again. You were so broke,
I was so broke I couldn't pay attention.
Wow.
You know, that's broke. And so, but I didn't know it. I just had another dream. I knew that I could be successful in the transportation business, and I knew that I could create a disruptive operational company that would vault me to success. And so after about 4 weeks of operating my company, I was having success, but I was running out of money. You know, I didn't know how I was going to make it. And so I saw this ad for this person who did accounts receivable financing, and they were in Atlanta. I called them on the phone. Now, here's a great story. I called them on the phone and told them my dream, and that my customers were the top of the top, the Procter and Gamble, the Pillsbury, the best of the best customers. And I just needed a break in financing. They actually were rude to me and laughed at me. And so what I did is I decided I wasn't going to take no for an answer. So at the end of the workday, I got in my old Pontiac station wagon, you know, the one with the wood on the side that's really not wood, the fake wood. And I drove all the way to Atlanta, Georgia that night, slept in my car, got up at the truck stop, washed my face, combed my hair, and shaved, put on a coat and tie, and was sitting in that man's office at 8 o'clock in the morning when he walked in the door. Think about that. He walks in the door and he says, I didn't have an appointment with you. I said, no, sir, you didn't. But you didn't give me time to explain to you my business plan. And I drove all the way from Florida to see you. I just need somebody to believe in me.
Wow.
So he says, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. Come on back to my office. 10 minutes turned into 3 hours. He was absolutely mesmerized by one thing, my tenacity to be successful in my business. And so he said, how much line of credit do you need? And I said, I need 300,000. I always ask for more than you need, right? I said, I need 300,000. I really needed 150. He said, okay, I'll give you 150,000. And from that moment, I never looked back. From that moment, listen to me, that was a defining moment in my life where I said, I'm going all out. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to slow me down. I'm going to do this regardless. When he gave me that $150,000 line of credit and he started seeing that my receivables were 5-star kind of people, we never looked back. And I paid him off within 2 years, that money, and our company was just in a vertical climb.
Incredible. Wow. Tenacity. I'm writing that one down. You guys writing that one down? Tenacity. That's amazing. And so give us a quick summary then of what happened to the business and why you're doing what you're doing today. And what happened to that business?
Well, I started, you know, at the humble beginnings, as I just described, and we just grew vertically. We ended up having 1,500 trucks, 1,500, 1,500 trucks operating in our system, 3,000 refrigerated trailers. I had trailers spotted everywhere, you know, with major customers, 23 terminals all over North America. In fact, Gordon, you're in Canada. One of my largest clients was Loblaws in Mississauga. Yes. I would put a minimum of 100 trucks a week into Loblaws in Mississauga.
Wow. I still shop at Loblaws every day.
Yeah, for delivery of their produce items and refrigerated items that they buy. And so we just grew and grew and grew. And we went from nothing to, if you add in my container operation that had 8 operating terminals and ran about 750 extra trucks, we're over a $200 million entity. Wow. From 0 to 200 million. Now, when you do that, you better know how to manage cash flow. You better know how to be in the office first and out of the office last for a while. You better know how to motivate your people and treat your customers and all of those things. And so we did all those things and we created the right business culture. I want you to hear this. Wow. I created the right culture of serving and honoring the people that work for my company, helping them become all they can be so that our company could be successful. And we were very disruptive in the industry. And actually, the way I started the business is the way they still do the business today in the industry. I sold, of course, in 1994 to a conglomerate, and started some other things. But
I
yes,
think we should have never sold, because that was probably the last year the Toronto Blue Jays won a World Series championship, right?
yeah, yeah. You want to hear a great story about that? The catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, Pat Borders.
At Borders.
Pat Borders?
Yes,
Pat Borders is a young man. His father and I were friends, and his father trained him much like mine did me. And I would work with him a little bit on his catching and stuff. And as a teenager, he would cut my grass for extra money.
That's incredible.
And so Pat Borders, MVP of the World Series.
Yes.
From the town where I started my transportation company.
Well, that's incredible, because, it seems like there's already been a history of you coaching Torontonians and Canadians to success. So you eventually sold your business. And what are you doing today? And I want to open up to a couple of Q&As after you share this, if that's okay. Okay. Let me
tell you what I did. After I sold my company, a partner and I developed a commercial real estate company, and over a 5-year period, we had $140 million of properties, shopping centers, office buildings, medical buildings, that kind of thing. And so when 2008 and 9 hit, we realized we weren't as smart as we thought we were. And see, in business, as an entrepreneur, you can dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and you still run into adversity. See, I didn't know what was happening in all the subprime business on Wall Street. Right. And so that really hurt our business. We lost millions of dollars cash, each one of us. And it was a great lesson, but we survived it.
Yes.
And so today I've run my JL Capital investment company, but my passion is working with entrepreneurs, teaching them what I had to learn the hard way.
Wow.
And I see a lot of people out there who are coaches, and that's great. But, I've actually done it. Yes. I've actually done it twice, and I'm doing it the third time now. I'm building another large company as we speak.
Yes.
And so what I like about what I do is it's affordable. I see a lot of people wanting to coach me, asking can they coach me, and they want to charge me $5,000 or $10,000. And I see people get involved in things like that, and there are a lot of dead bodies strewn along the way. Yes. I'm not that guy. What I do is very affordable. And I work presently with 8 entrepreneurs. I want to tell you a story. This is so important. And, a lot of times people that want to coach you have never built a business, and they don't know a balance sheet and cash flow from a ham sandwich, as we say.
What's a balance sheet?
The assets and liabilities. That's right. And so what we do is we're creating a process where I can give my time, because it's my passion, to help right now 8 entrepreneurs. I wanted to see if I could make a difference. And over the last year with COVID, each one of these entrepreneurs' businesses increased over 30%. Over 30%. One lady started with me with nothing. She has $140,000 cash in the bank in a year, because she's structured and positioned correctly for the marketplace which she's in, and the times that we're in, the financial times that we're in. So what we want to do is create a subscription base of people that can come in weekly, who might not be able to afford to talk to me on a weekly basis, that can have access to me on a weekly basis, and can hear what I have to say and ask me questions, Gordon. So I think that would be great. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry. That's amazing. Before we do a couple of Q&As, I love what you just shared, because I meet coaches all the time who can't even balance their own checkbook. And I'm not here to knock that, because that's the industry that I'm in. Landing for Success is about a culture, a community. You said culture. We've been talking about community. Yes. We've got to build that culture where we really care about the people who show up. And my business partner, J. Jack Kenton, introduced me to a young man yesterday who said, Gordon, here's my business card. We are building a commercial real estate business in the US. Can you help me? Bingo, right? That business card is now going to the top of the pile, and that connection is going to be made with you. And folks, if you guys are watching, this is one of the reasons why I love the business relationship I have with my friend Tom Chesser, right? Because it's all about us being able to introduce each other to individuals who have been there, done it, that can help with the growth of your business. I know some of the folks are here and they have to leave soon, and they may have a few questions for you. Anybody here would have a quick question for, Kula, go ahead.
Hi, George. Thank you for the insight, first of all. Really appreciate your story. I'm in the same industry as you were. I think, you sold the company and the logistics industry. My question is, from the day you were $0 valued, your company to $200 million value, how long it has taken to you to build that level? And what was the challenges during that path you faced?
It was about 25 years.
Okay.
25 years from 0 to 200 million. The greatest challenge is people. You know, the beautiful part about being in business is you deal with people. And sometimes the tough part about being in business is you deal with people. And what I realized, now here's a guy with a business degree, you know, starting a company. I'm very well educated, but I realized right away that I was not in the trucking business, that I was in the people business.
Correct.
And so even at that time, I sought out at night taking a Dale Carnegie course so that I would know how to relate to people, because I had to relate to the people repairing the truck, driving the truck, unloading the truck, the CEO of Pillsbury. I had to relate to all those people to be successful. And when you learn to relate to people and be successful with people, and edify and love people, see, love wins. And when you love people and trust God for the result, you're going to be very successful. I want to say one thing about Tom Chesser. Of all the people I've met in my lifetime, Tom Chesser is one of the most impactful people that I have associated myself, my family, my wife, my companies, my involvement with. And Tom is pretty much, I call him the quarterback of what we do. He understands business, and he understands how to help someone, even like me, position myself in such a way to be the most effective and the most blessing for others. And he takes what you know and your desire and your dream, and he helps you craft it. It's the most amazing thing that's happened to me in my business over the past year. I just want to throw that plug in for Tom because he's on this call. But thank you for that question.
Yeah,
Thank you for that question. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
See, here's the thing. I want to go back to this on the people thing. Everybody has great trucks. Everybody has customers, but it's the difference in the driver representing you. He's your ambassador on the road. And I used to bring my drivers in with their wives once a year to like a NASCAR race, the top drivers. And I would sit in the middle of the room at a dinner at night before the race on the next day. And I'd take a legal pad and I would say, okay, guys, you're here for a reason. God put you here with me for a reason. Tell me how we can have a better company. And I would sit there with my wife and we would make notes. They would give me suggestions. I would write them down. Monday and Tuesday of the following week, I start implementing those strategies. Guess what they're saying to other drivers on the road? Our boss listens to us. He has the right culture. He loves us and cares about us. And, you know, if a driver was out and his wife needed money, I'd make sure she got it before he got back. It's a family affair. You have to treat people like you want to be treated.
Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that.
That's amazing. You know, I want to echo what you mentioned about Tom Chesser. By the way, folks, if you guys are here, mark down the date, October 25th, because Tom Chesser will be popping up and popping in, as you know, Mr. Joseph Lang just mentioned. He doesn't have to, but he's going to be lending his time. his expertise. He's going to share with you how you can use positioning and PR marketing to blow up your business. I know he did that for me for Business Wealth Summit, a recent article in Atlanta for Success, and many of my other clients. And, you know, Mr. Land, please connect with Mr. Salvatierra. You guys have so many things in common. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
You know, the Procter and
Yes.
Gamble's, the transportation, helping others. He just recently helped a young man, age 25, build a company that's valued at $800 million. And
Wow.
like JL Capital, you know, constantly you're looking for who's that next individual you may be able to help get to the next level. Let me ask you this, with all the successes that you already have, what's still driving you then?
Well, I think that God has blessed me and my family, and I want to give him the credit and the glory for that. And I want to take what I've learned and give it to people that he is positioning for greatness so many people can be blessed. I believe there are people out there sitting right now saying, if I could only get with someone that I could afford that could help me get to the next level, you know, I could do it quickly. And again, building a business, and in order to scale a business, it's about positioning and structure. And if you're positioned right and you're structured right, you can be successful. You know, if I can take $50,000, and I don't know Jack Diddley about the trucking business, if I can take $50,000 and scale it to 200 million, I think I can help you be successful.
Wow, that's incredible. Absolutely love it. And, you know, I think you mentioned that every year you're working, I love it. You're working with 8 entrepreneurs or business owners, right? I see individuals and I can help everyone, and they're taking thousands and thousands of people and taking thousands and thousands of dollars, right? From individuals, and like you said, leaving dead bodies.
Yes.
Along the way. So folks, if you guys are watching, please connect with Mr. Joseph Land. If you need to connect with him, it's really easy. Just reach out to us here at Atlanta for Success. Okay, we'll connect you with them. We'll get you connected. We'll get you, you know, I'm sure he'll be open if you're the right individual, right, to have a conversation with you and see where that can go. So anybody else have any questions right now for Mr. Land? This is your opportunity.
I wanted to pipe in here because my name's come up several times, but I'm sorry, did I interrupt somebody?
You go ahead, Mr. Chester.
You know, Joseph, you know, the one thing I really admire about you, you know, you started out your career in baseball. I can literally picture you in the rain playing baseball.
Yeah.
I can see you in the lightning and the storm. I can see you all the time practicing that trade, you know, catching, pitching, doing everything you can to perfect the game at your level. You know, that to me, that type of commitment is a commitment that I think all of us can learn from, because that type of commitment you carried over to the people you served, that type of commitment you took over to the people that you helped, then the business that you grew. And I think that's something else that really needs to be noticed about you is that hard work ethic that you have and staying in the game no matter what the circumstances are. You know, so I've learned a lot from you. I really have, you know that. I really admire what you're accomplishing right now. And it's not hard to make somebody shine when they're shining as bright as you are. So I really appreciate the compliments, but I'm telling you right now, it's that commitment, that tenacity. It's that bulldog grip where you don't let go. No matter what, you don't let go. And I think you have just transformed the dreams of so many people here today that are going to want to connect with you. I wish you'd tell them how to connect with you, if you would.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
I have a question, Gordon, for Joseph, actually. Joseph, you mentioned about the book, Dale Carnegie, People and...
You're breaking up.
Yeah, Jay, we just lost you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so there was a phone call came. My apologies. What I was asking is, he was talking about a book, How to Influence Friends and Influence People. Any other book that you can recommend or you read that help dealing with people?
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And now I want you to think about the title of that. Think and grow rich. Most people don't think. And the issue is I'm telling people today, who are you listening to? Who in these times, who are you listening to? Here's who I'm listening to. Number one, I get up early in the morning and I read my Bible and I do devotionals and I pray for the people that are in my circle of influence. Gordon, you were prayed for this morning. I read my devotionals, and then I read at least 10, 20 minutes in a book that I'm interested in. And I think you need to continue to read and educate yourself. What is this thing? Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune.
Wow.
Yeah, that's who I am. That's
exactly
Jim Rohn, who
right?
I am.
Jim Rohn.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly who I am.
Wow.
I bought into that. I'm a voracious reader. I want to keep myself in humble posture so that I can learn from everyone. You don't ever know when God is going to bring somebody across your path that is going to give you that one tip that will send you on to your destination. But if you're not open and humble, you can't receive that.
Powerful.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Gordon. I'm done.
Powerful. Mr. Land, Jay Jack Canton is actually a good friend of mine and one of the co-founders here at Land for Success. So very, very humble. And I'm glad, the two of you are going to get to know each other better as well.
May I say to Jay, I was really looking forward to meeting you, Jay. Gordon has told me so many wonderful things about you, and it's a pleasure to meet you here today. Thank you, Gordon.
Awesome.
Absolutely, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we pop up, you pop in. Thank you for joining us. Again, our special guest is Mr. Joseph Land. Through all our social media, once we post this video, once we post this audio, there will be links. Okay, so don't worry about how you're going to get in touch with Mr. Joseph Land. You will be able to have direct access to him, learn about exactly what he's offering and how he can actually help you build, grow, and scale your business. Right? Anybody here want to grow and scale their business? Right? He just talked about helping 8 entrepreneurs increase their revenues by 30% a year. That is very significant. So we'll open it up to one more question, and then Mr. Land, maybe you could wrap it up for us with maybe some final thoughts and comments. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have one more question from someone here?
Yes, please. Hi.
Welcome, Sandeep.
Hi, how are you? It's so inspiring to hear the achievements and the process. So I actually want some motivational input from you now. I started a new business and I'm a mom of 2 little kids, and every morning I'm so motivated. Okay, I have to do this. I'm establishing something big. It's going to give me big fruits later on. But every evening I'm guilty. Oh, I'm not focusing as much on the family and kids. And it's like an everyday procedure. So you have been doing this for 25 years. And
yes, can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, that's a great question. And it's called balance. What you're describing is balance. And what I had to learn early on in my career, I was so tenacious, so driven, so competitive. Can you relate? Yeah. And that I had 3 little girls also that wanted my attention. And so what I would do back then is I would go to my office before they woke up. And when they were getting ready to have breakfast 2 or 3 hours later, I would come back home and have breakfast with them and see them off to school. Now I'd go back to my office knowing that they're coming home from school, and I would be home for dinner. And I would be home for dinner for whenever dinner was and play with them until they went to bed. Then I'd get after it again, and it was called balance. I had to create balance in my life, and I had to spend time with my wife. So, there are priorities that you set, and here's a tip I'm going to give you. that will absolutely set you on your course. I get with my wife every Sunday night. Used to, when kids were little, you wait till they go to bed, you finished your weekend, and now you're preparing to tackle the next week, right? If you don't prepare, you're not going to be successful. And so we sit down together and we prepare what it is we need to accomplish that week to bring our dreams into focus, right? And so we have a list that I'm doing, and a list that she's doing, and a list that we're doing as it relates to our business, our family, our children, when we're having a special dinner, when we're doing all these things together, and it just works. But I heard someone say, if you aim at nothing, aim like with a gun. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it every time. But the only way to hit the bullseye is to aim at the bullseye. You have to prepare. Preparation is the seed of greatness in a company. So prepare, prepare, prepare.
Love that. Can you repeat that again?
Thank you. That's invaluable. Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you so much. I needed to hear this from you.
Yeah, preparation. I mean, a lot of my competitors, even today, they don't prepare.
Wow. Amazing.
They'll come to a meet. I have one pet peeve. If I go to a meeting with a lawyer that represents me and he's working on his phone while we're discussing the deal, I get rid of the lawyer, because you'll see in a meeting people working on their cell phones and they miss the business points of the deal, and I'm going to always take advantage of that because they're not paying attention.
Wow.
Right? And so it's about focus, it's about tenacious, it's about preparation, and it's about integrity. That's how you're successful.
Love that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Love that.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Sandeep, for the question. And those answers you just gave, that sounds like that could be a weekend training you could give just on that alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot. God has put a lot in my heart to teach people. And Gordon, the thing I see is people are charging astronomical fees to help people. And what I'm trying to do is just cover my costs. We're creating an insiders forum. Yes. Where people who don't have any money can pay $19.99 a month and get all the information from me on a weekly basis and my team, including access to Tom Chesser. And we're also, I have a couple of spots open with my 8 group. And then there are five people I'm looking for to help, who I virtually want to help them run their business, who I think can, after I interview them, I think they can create $100 million plus business. Wow. That's like throwing me in the briar patch. That's where I really play.
That's incredible. So 8 and 5 that you can help to build $100 million business.
That I personally
I'm in. Anybody in? Raise your hands, you guys, if you're in.
And so it's working. It's really working.
Wow.
And I want to say why it's working. God is blessing it. God has truly anointed me to help people. And I don't want you to pay me and regret paying me. So that's why we don't charge you $15,000 to have a conversation with me. We charge you $19.99, $19.99. And if you want me to work with you as one of my 8, I'm going to charge you $1,500 a month, and I'm going to guarantee you.
You can't hire a CEO for that. That's incredible.
We have a team of 6 people that work on my international brand, and that's why we charge it all, because we have to pay all those people's salaries. And then for the 5 that I want to personally choose to work with, that I think can be a difference maker in business and be a $200 million company, then I will negotiate that fee with them, because I'm going to be virtually running their business.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow. Wow. I mean, there's nothing like that available out there. There isn't, right?
No.
Being in the personal development space for all these years, I have not seen anyone with the documentation that you have, right? A good friend of mine says documentation beats conversation.
Yes.
And what you're sharing with what you're willing to do. I mean, that's almost like you giving your time for nothing, right?
Yes.
Which is incredible. Look, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Land. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. We love to have you back. You guys want to have Mr. Land back, right? And maybe we'll do some more deep dive into some of what he's talked about. I'd like to end with a couple of questions and put you on the spot, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure.
Okay with that? Let's have some fun
Sure.
here. Let's get to know Mr. Land a bit. You guys okay? That my first question for you is, what is your favorite color? Do you have a favorite color?
My favorite color is Dodger blue.
There you go. I'm like a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, right? I bleed blue. Yeah.
I know. I love Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. So Dodgers blue. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite ice cream?
Yeah, I do. I like chocolate peanut butter.
Wow. I'm gonna try that. Chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah, there's a chocolate peanut butter swirl.
Okay. Okay. My last question for you is this. If you could wave a magic wand right now, okay? If you could wave a magic wand right now and do one thing for Joseph Land, that is a tough one, because you have such a servant's heart. You're always thinking about how you can help somebody else, how you can serve somebody else. So I don't need an answer on somebody else for now. If you could wave the magic wand and there was one thing you could do for Joseph Land, what would you do?
Well, to put myself in a platform to reach more people, to tell them, if I could wave that magic wand, to tell them how I found peace in my life and how I have been able to right a lot of wrong. See, we all make mistakes in our life. And the problem with most people is they don't know how to forgive themselves. Other people will forgive you, but you can't forgive yourself. You know, we've all made mistakes in our life, and you can have peace in your life. And if I could wave that wand, I would tell everybody I know how I found peace in my life.
Powerful. Well, once again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here. And until the next time, everyone, have an amazing, amazing day.
And Joseph, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Gordon, I had to jump in. I had to, and please forgive me, Mr. Land, but it is so funny. You know, if you look at the movie Star Wars, I am Gordon's Padawan trainer. You know, Gordon has been training me for quite some years, and we talk about, you know, the book of Think and Grow Rich. Let me ask you this one crazy question. Out of all the years that you've been in business, when you were first starting your business, what advice would you have given yourself today, knowing all the things that you have been through? What would you tell your younger self today out of all the things, so that way you would even do what you have done in a different fashion or even greater fashion?
Yeah. Now, Lester, before Mr. Land answers this question, I want to let the folks know that when we finish here, okay, when we go off the air, I'm going to stay here. And as long as Mr. Land is willing to stay behind, if anybody else has any more questions, we can do that, just so you know that. And I want to preface this by, Lester is very humble, you guys. He is an individual that has served as a police officer for 30 some odd years. So thank you, right, for all the men and women that serve us. And he has protected, he's actually bodyguard for 2 US presidents, you guys.
Wow. I
mean, this man is humble, and I'm so glad to have somebody like Mr. Bailey in our community. So anyways, I wanted to, and this is what our community is about, is how can we lift each other up, you guys. Lester, I hope I didn't ruin your question there. You still have his question, right?
I have it. I have it. Lester, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for your wonderful spirit, and thank you for your question. If I had to say one thing to my younger self, I would say simply this: to use my discernment early on in making decisions about people or things or equipment. You know, early on in my career, I trusted everybody, and everybody doesn't have good intentions. And so I would pray more and discern more before making a decision, and not make a quick decision, because I learned that you will know people by their fruit. Is that right? you will not, I mean, what I say, what I do speaks so loudly, you can't hear a word I say. When you're around me, what I do will attract you to who I am.
Thank you. I love that answer. Okay, Gordon, you can close the show now.
Awesome. Well, you know, I
Before
obviously,
you go, I
wish we
got one
could.
more thing. Gordon, before you go, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Joseph, can you put your information in the chat? We're doing a chat on the side over here. And can you put your contact information and how to reach you in the chat? I know we haven't asked you that question yet, how to reach you.
We're going to
Can you
take
do
care
that
of
for
that,
us?
Tom. We're going to make sure it's all taken care of.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. We're going to make sure
Thank
that
you.
everyone here is going to know exactly how to contact Mr. Joseph Land on all our social media platforms, whether it's going to be in LinkedIn or iTunes, everything we're going to put out there. If what
Thank
Mr.
you.
Land has said really resonates with you, yeah, you guys, it'll be really easy for you guys to get a hold of him. And if you need to, you can always send a message to us here at info@Landed for Success. But we'll make it so easy for you to be able to directly be in touch with him. And also, you guys, with Mr. Tom Chester, right? He is the individual that's going to be, you know, doing the marketing, the PR behind what Mr. Joseph Land is doing here as well. So also reach out to Tom Chester, right? And he's going to be able to connect you with him as well. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up the formal part of this show. Mr. Land, once again, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
For being here. And we'll just end with, you know, the fact that Landed for Success, we believe that it's important for us to surround ourselves only with the people that can lift us up. So